I saw this as a strategic moment. And so I choose to define it as a strategic moment that really pushed me into this second half of my journey, my professional journey, which includes the speaking and which includes the coaching. And so a setback initially, yeah, we are all affected by unemployment. And in many ways, this means so much for us. But then I turned it around and I saw it as a strategic moment. You know, you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do, Giselle? Are you going to be defined by unemployment, or are you going to continue along your path in a new direction? And that's what I did. So yeah, unemployment was hard, but it defined who I am now and it turned things around for me.
Wow, look, let me tell you, you said unemployed for 2 years.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
long time.
That's what, 365 times two, right?
That's right.
That is,
I like
look,
how you broke it down. Yeah, yeah,
look, I'm
yeah,
about to go even further, girl. I'm like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know about it, how it is in Trinidad and Tobago, but that's 2,080 work hours a year
Mhm.
times two.
Wow. Yep,
Think
yep,
about
yep,
that
yep,
now.
yep,
Think
yep.
about that.
Yeah,
And so you said that it was you believe that it was a strategic move for your
yeah.
life.
Yes, it was.
And I hear it as a monumental shift in your life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It set the tone for your path going forward, your
It
career
did.
path going forward
It
in
did.
in terms of personal and professional development, because I would go out on a limb to say that it reshaped how you moved forward, like in terms of probably your financial budgeting, how you approach things. So share how
Sure.
you moved. Like once you got that job, how did you move
Mm.
about?
But before I got the job, and you're so correct, it really redefined how I approach things. Previously, you have this plan and you're working your plan, as you say. And in that moment, I had to either hold on to the plan as is or focus or repurpose the plan. And so I had to take some time and do some repurposing of my plan. It repurposed in on many levels. First, as I mentioned before, I'm a PhD student. So it even helped me fine tune what I really wanted to focus on for my doctoral studies, which is transition management and looking at professional leaders, women leaders, female leaders within the organization, how they transition through professional positions, and that whole emotional aspect using Bridges' theory of transition management and looking at that emotional side of a professional woman mid-career transition, what happens. And so it helped me to define, even on that level, this is really what you want to study and add to the literature. And then on my level, remember, I was at the top of my game, and having not much money to no money, having to go back home in your parents' house, having to be calling your mother for assistance, it did something to me personally.
Humbling,
And it
very
was a
humbling.
humbling, very humbling.
Hmm.
And so in that moment, we tend to want to rush out of that and just get the next job. But as I said, it took 2 years, and I had to go through the process of that transition, that emotional side. That okay, Giselle, did that job define you? Are you that job? Outside of that job, outside of the accolades, outside of the position that you had, who are you? And I had to take some time to redefine that. So on a personal level, it also helped refocus and repurpose to where I am now. Do I have the usual 9 to 5 again? Not really. Yes, I do my lecturing, but that's part time. I think it was the moment that I decided all my training, all my professional training, I'm going to now focus on speaking, and coaching women in the same manner I did within the walls of the organization. I'm going to do it now. So I'm using my training. I have not left my training and 15 plus years within the organization behind. I'm just using it in a different way. So it launched me out. I really launched out into a new arena. And now I'm seeing the dots being connected. I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah, so that's how it affected me and how I dealt with it to this point.
Yeah, it was a push, right? It was
It
a
was,
push.
it
It was
was,
a
it
push.
was. Hmm.
And I think about how we have this pandemic that's going on now, and I don't know what the unemployment rate looks like in Trinidad,
Mm,
Tobago,
mm,
but it's alarming here. I mean, more jobs
yes.
are getting created, but people, I was on a local television station a couple of months ago, just driving towards trying to give people hope, like not to
Mm,
give up. And
mm,
so with you sharing like the emotional pieces you had to go through during those
mhm.
2 years, it's great that you share that, because others who may look at this video later on, and by the way, we're finally live on Facebook.
Yes.
We may look at it later on, they're like, oh wow, she went through that for 2 years,
Mhm,
and look at her now.
mhm,
Look at her now. I'm going to admit someone into the room.
sure.
This is the cool part about the chat. I get to invite people in with
Yeah.
us to listen in and to ask questions. Oh, Thaniel Charles, welcome.
Oh, actually, it's Ativa.
Oh, welcome,
Hi.
beautiful.
Yes, Atiba is from Trinidad and Tobago as
It's my
well.
it's
Oh, so you came to join the party. You hear the calypso
yeah.
music?
Mm,
Welcome,
Yes, I
welcome,
thank you.
welcome. So yeah, Jiselle, we were chatting about, um, the fact that you are offering hope and
yes.
inspiration to those who are unemployed right now, and what they can do in terms of mindset, in terms of looking and seizing opportunities,
That's it.
right?
That's it. Yeah. And that's key. And especially when you add the pandemic onto it, you have to know and discern opportunity. Opportunity before the pandemic, for me, was very scripted and very, very vanilla. There was a certain characteristic to opportunities that I would take and I would go after. Now, in that from that 2 year period and now adding a pandemic onto it, I have to refocus what I see as opportunity and how do I identify an opportunity and go after it. So that's one thing, for all of us, looking at our career and looking at the transitions that we are facing, how do we recognize opportunity? Opportunities may not come packaged in the way that we are accustomed to, that we necessarily like, but nevertheless, it's an opportunity. And then we also have to understand point two, the opportunity only lasts in the moment of the opportunity.
Come on
Let
now,
me
say
say
that one
that
more time.
again. The
Say that one
opportunity
more time.
only lasts in the moment of the opportunity. An opportunity is a suddenly thing, it's a suddenly moment. You have to quickly recognize it and you have to quickly decide yes or no. And after you do that, move, because after that moment, it goes and it's not guaranteed for a repeat performance. It's not guaranteed to come back around. So those first two things on that whole concept of opportunity, you have to recognize it and then you have to move quickly to take advantage of it and maximize it.
Amen. Amen. I am so glad that you said that. And that's important as people are transitioning to another career, whether it's transitioning from unemployment or transitioning from that mid-career to go to
Yeah,
a higher level career.
that's right.
And I love spending my time coaching and mentoring corporate women who are mid-level to accelerate to the next level, like either through
Yeah.
promotions or just, you know, going out there getting that next job.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times what I find is the common theme is having people to recognize their own power,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Wow.
the value that they bring to an organization.
Yes.
And so their selling document is their resume. And so I'm
Yes.
always like, okay, what is your resume looking like, right? What results or accomplishments are you putting out there about
Mm-hmm.
yourself?
Yes.
So it's important. Like the world needs us.
Yes.
You shared like, hey, your 15-year experience that you had behind you,
Yes.
it was for a purpose, and you're leveraging that purpose right now to help others. So have you learned any new talents about yourself during this time?
Oh wow. Technology, technology, technology.
Don't even touch that. Don't
What
even touch.
even? I mean, previously, you had persons to do this for you. I always describe myself, I'm the planner. I will give you the idea and then you will execute wherever you have to
The
use technology.
visionary.
That's right.
The
Now
visionary.
I have to
Hmm.
be the visionary and the hands and the feet and the everything in between. But it's an exciting journey because I'm learning so much about myself. I'm expanding myself and pushing myself. Wow, I created that. I'm seeing myself as a creative in a new light. Yeah, so it's refreshing. It's adding a second wind, as it were, to my creative ability that I'm not only seeing it, I can also now bring it to fruition. So technology, I'm learning new skills in that area. And that's one thing that I would say that I've learned over time. The second thing, always being in administration, yes, but now it's administration on multi levels that you have to do for yourself. So I have to pull all my experience in administration and drill down. I would describe it as you would be familiar with this in Dr. Brian, systems analysis.
Yes.
So you have to understand the system, you have to understand every part of the system, understand how they work together, how they speak to each other, and you have to be able to recognize the gaps in the system. Now I'm doing all of that by myself. And so I'm learning again how to understand this animal called a system and how to have it running smoothly and effectively. So those two things I would say that I've learned, and I'm being stretched again to apply the skills that and repurpose my skills. Yes.
Let me tell you, hey, I can identify exactly with what you're saying. Like when I was in the federal government, I retired after 31 years of service, nearly 2 years ago. And so I was at the executive level, and I had like probably 70 plus people working for me, right? Some of them were contractors. And I had somebody to do everything, right? Like yourself, I was the visionary. And so here I am. I'm like, okay, I got this small business I launched, and I was like, oh, I got to do all this myself.
Yes, 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 yes.
So I started asking questions,
Mhm.
getting out there, networking with people, not being afraid to ask the questions,
Yes.
not being afraid to ask for help. And because I worked, and you probably can identify with this too, because I came up the ranks in my career, there are
Yes.
times, as you say, that I had to revert back to different roles, like even setting this
That's
up,
right.
like I sent
That's
you a
right.
calendar invitation,
Yes, you would have had someone to do that for you
right?
previously, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I didn't know if you're like myself, like I have to put everything on a calendar because
Yes.
otherwise I'll forget
Yes.
because of
Yes.
my business life. And I'm like, I gotta be somewhat organized. And
Mm.
and so yeah, it's one of those things when you become your own business owner, woo, it comes with its own set of challenges, and
That's right. That's
there'll be
right.
talents that you're gonna have to reach within to find.
That's right. That's right. You know, as you're saying that in the Caribbean, cricket is a big sport. I don't know if you're familiar with the game
Yes,
of
I've heard.
cricket.
Yes.
And so you have to be the person who would hit a six and a four. The four is to the boundary, but a six is all the way out
Oh,
of the cricket field. So you have to be the one who hits it out, but then you have to be the one who also would be in the field going behind that ball that you just hit out of the boundary. So that is what it feels like for me now. I'm in this big cricket game and I'm essentially all of the players in every position on that field. Yeah.
I know, I know. Look, you saw how excited I was, and I was beaming with joy when I was like, yes, finally, we're Facebook Live. When I get things, look, when I get things to work in technology, you would think I was a kid in the candy store. I'm like, yes, I did it, I
I
did it.
know, I know, I know. I'm the same way.
But it also, with me, it helps me to appreciate those who do this job all the time, right?
Yes.
And so, of course, I have services where I hire virtually, right? And so
Hmm.
that's a way to help fill gaps as well,
That's right.
because we can't do it all. We can't
That's right.
do it all. So
That's
we have
right.
to figure out what's the most important task that we that we have to focus on in terms of being strategic and being a planner. Um,
Wow.
and like you talked about system analysis, I look at it as also like a project plan. I look at
Yes.
everything as a project from
Yes.
beginning to end and figuring out each step of the way, figuring out where there may be interdependencies, overlap, right?
Hmm.
As
Hmm.
well as
Hmm.
gaps.
Yes.
And then able to assign a timeline to everything to figure out, okay, when do I need to do what and what is dependent upon the other thing to get me to that finish line. Like you were
That's right.
talking about crickets, there are other players that are on the field as well,
That's
right?
right. Wow. Wow.
it,
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
planning it's planning to get to that end state.
That's
so
right.
um so yeah, so you got a lot going on. I keep you said lecturer. I've been there. Like I actually serve as a adjunct instructor
Hmm.
for a couple of colleges, and then I have
Yeah.
another college that's trying to court me now to
Right.
teach there. And I'm like, can I do this like on a for real part-time basis?
I know. I'm looking at my schedule. I'm like, okay, I have 2 more days left. Okay, how can I do it? How can I fit? I know, I understand, and you're always conscious of taking on what you really can do, and because you want to do your best and you want to give everyone, the best, and so I understand. Yeah.
Absolutely. So saying that, giving everyone the best.
Mhm.
Look, I'm balancing being a newlywed, right? Second
Mhm.
marriage, got married in January, then COVID hit. And
Congrats!
thanks.
Wow.
And then I have two, teenage daughters. One is 19 and one is 16, but still, requires some attention, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so balancing that is interesting, but I'm able to do it so far.
Yes.
One great thing is that my husband works in a job that requires him to be, out of the house majority of the day, right?
Okay. Yes.
So while he's out, I'm doing my
You
thing.
could do your right. Yes.
So how are
Mhm.
you balancing?
Ah.
That side before.
It is a balancing act, but as you're saying, you have to have a partner that understands uh the weight of the plate that you're carrying, and I think he is really really able to do that and help me focus and really champion me to focus and balance well. So that's one saving grace, and it's helping me to be able to balance family life and professional life. Yeah, having that partnership. And that concept of partnership, it even flows into your professional life, because now, Dr. B, we have to understand the power in partnerships. You can't want to do it on your own anymore to be the big dog in the field. No, no, no. It's all about partnerships. So it's working for me.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, like, the importance of networking will pay
Yes,
dividends for you, right?
that's
Because you
right.
then begin to cultivate and foster and nurture relationships that turn into your tribe.
That's
So
right.
when you are down or where may need help, or they
Mm-hmm.
may offer complimentary services, they
Mm-hmm.
hop in and they help you. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Y'all help
yes,
each other. It's
that's
like a
right.
mutual benefit.
That's
And I say this a lot because I think about it often when it comes to balancing.
right. Mm-hmm.
One of my mentors shared this with me several years ago, and it's called the rubber balls versus glass balls.
Okay.
So your glass balls are your whatever you determine it to be, right? But just based on our conversation, I will guess to say this. Our glass balls are a family, right? You got your faith, right? You got your finances.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have, whatever that fourth glass ball is, employment or whatever the case may be, right?
Yes, yes.
And then your rubber ball are all those things that can wait, right? They can certainly wait.
Yes.
And so with your glass balls, you got to protect those glass balls no matter what,
Yes.
and never allow them to break.
Wow.
So when I think about that every single day, as I'm planning my day, as I'm thinking through my day, I'm checking in with my family. How are you doing? What's
Yes.
going on? How can I support you? What are we doing next? Right?
Yes.
The rubber ball, there may be things in your business or some project that's over there. It can wait.
Mm.
It can certainly wait,
Wow.
because
Yes.
guess what, and I tell my mentor, I tell this story all the time, and I said, and I'm always adding stuff to it. So um is that with those rubber balls, right, they will bounce back,
Mm. Mm.
or they'll keep rolling, because
Rolling. Yes.
if they keep rolling, they weren't meant to be there in your life anyway.
Yes. Yes.
So that's how I look at things. And ever since I put that in place for me, that's helped with my time management and how I allocate my time
Yes. Yes.
and where I
Wow.
spend my energy, because energy management is important to me. I
Wow.
purge those things that don't serve me,
That's awesome.
and I do it unapologetically,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I value relationships.
Yes.
So I am so grateful, and I mean this sincerely. I am so grateful, and I consider this a gift that you spent 30 minutes with me, 10 a.m. in the morning
Yes.
here.
Oh gosh, it was a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Oh my God. Do know that this coffee and tea chat is not going to stop here, sister. If you
Right. Yes.
And look, if you need somebody to serve as your study as part of your PhD program,
Yes. God, not to me.
come knock
Oh,
on my door.
oh
I will,
gosh.
because Lord knows I had to go through some changes. And you talked about trusting the process in terms of emotional regulation, because I've had some serious setbacks. So um definitely. So Ativa, I know we're at 10:30. Do you have any questions for us? Thank you for joining us live.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I just saw the link and I checked I emailed quickly. I was like, I have to be a part of this because I am a registered nurse. Not that I'm searching for a job, but I've always been taught that you need to remain relevant.
Amen.
So
Yes.
so being a part of this, I'm just gleaning. Definitely need to update my resume.
Hey, look, I'm your girl to help you with that if you need some help. So
Yes.
definitely connect with me on social media, or I try to find you on social media so we can stay
No
connected.
problem. But my
And like
biggest
I said,
takeaway is the rubber ball,
the rubber balls,
rubber
right?
ball,
I've
that
written it
Versus
down.
glass
balancing.
balls.
I've
Yeah,
written it
think
down.
about that.
Yeah, I'm taking that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let it absorb in, and
Mm.
start thinking about your day. You might have to
Yes.
write down What are my glass balls?
What are my glass balls? Oh, wow,
That's my
I love
point.
it. I love it. I love it. Wow, we'll be spreading that, Dr. Brian. We'll be spreading that concept down here. It's awesome.
Look, if you're wondering what my doctorate degree is in philosophy, okay?
Okay.
Philosophy and leadership. So that's what
Awesome.
you get from me. So thanks again. Do you want to tell the folks, the viewers, how they can find you, Jiselle?
Sure. Sure. You can find me on social media through my consultancy, Pearls of Great Price Empowerment Services. So you can search for Pearls of Great Price Empowerment Services. It will direct you to my pages, or you can search my name, Jiselle Alleyne Clement, and it will direct you back to my business page. I'm on all social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Or you can email me at pearls of great price one at gmail.com to get more information on the services I offer. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I am Dr. Jennifer Jones Bryant. I could be found on social media as such, and I have a group called Reaching Within, an empowerment journey. I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn. Instagram is Reaching Within. LinkedIn is Dr. Jennifer Bryant. So you could definitely do a search. You'll be able to find me. My website is reachingwithinempowerment.com. Check me out. I am your career strategist. I am your best-selling author. I am your speaker. And I would love to help you to excel to your next level in your career. Check me out, resume services, interview services. I want to make you hot. I want, when you show up, they're going to be like, we ain't hiring nobody else but you, right?
Yes, amen.
So I'm about igniting that fire. I'm known as the fire thrower. So before we leave, I always like to grab a shot, a picture. So hold up your mug. Tiva, I don't know if you have your tea, water, whatever. Okay, let's see if I can take this quick picture. My mug is not acting properly. Let's see if I got it. I think I got it. We'll see. If not, I can freeze the frame on the live. So
Okay.
feel free to circulate the video or whatever the case may be. Thank you, viewers. You both have an amazing, amazing day, and keep front of mind and front and center glass balls versus rubber balls.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bryant, again.
See ya.
Bye.